Well, I mean, I want to start by saying, like, 2020, I mean, goes without saying that this year was a turning point for all of humanity, right? I mean, COVID has drastically changed the way we operate. It pushed all our boundaries in every way, economically, socially, psychologically. And it taught us, I think, some lessons regarding where we're headed as a planet and on what our priorities are as governments or as individuals or as safety, healthcare, as children, as the youth with their education or with their social lives. So I think it also helped us enter the digital age because, I mean, we've seen that there's no other way to function. I mean, look at us right now. We are using Zoom to connect. We would be physically in a place if it weren't for COVID, right? And we have seen that we need to move forward. And when life gives you lemons, you have to make a lemonade, right? So we do have to move forward, and we have to change the old way of thinking that we had. And we have to change our whole 9 to 5 mentality of jobs, our understanding of normalcy. Normality is not what is, and it will never be back to normal after this. It will never go back to 2018. It's always going to have a mark, and it's not going to go away. So instead of searching for how life used to be, I think we have to look at even our grandparents who are using, an app to order their supermarket shopping. I mean, that means that this has become an integral part of us. So instead of searching for this certainty and instead of searching for normalcy, we all need to embrace the infinite possibilities that are presented to us when there is uncertainty. And I want to go and look back into the Spanish flu that happened in the 1918, 1920 period. And this happened just after World War. And people did not try to say, you know what, let's go back to the 18th century. They said, okay, let's build a new world for ourselves. And they became forward thinking. They took risks to bring industrial and artistic novelties, right? So I think this is a time to do that because when there is uncertainty, that means nothing is defined anymore. And this is an advantage because we can create a new definition of life that we wish to live in. And not just as societies, but as individuals for ourselves as well. And but this means that we need to think outside the box. And I think we're luckier than our ancestors in the 1920s because now technology offers us to connect without moving a step out of their homes, right? And if we have a product that we create, or if we're presenting a small business, or even with education, we can tap into any website of any university now and take a course online, or do a complete new study, or receive a certificate from some education that is offered out there. Or we can network and meet people through many means. And I think this is something that is presented to us if we know how to use it. So my point here is, let's look at the glass that is half full instead of the glass that is half empty. And this is the deck we've been served. Let's make the most out of it is what I'm trying to say. And another point that I personally have always seen the benefit of is that, I am a strong believer that we are the creator of our lives. Whatever good or bad is happening, I think we are fully responsible for all our experiences, all our merits or all our, devastations. It is a fruit of the choices that we have made. So I believe that I am the owner of the energy that creates my life. And once you tap into that, once you tap into, becoming the owner of your own energy, everything changes. The way you look at things change because you have a full responsibility with every choice that you make. and this empowers you, and it gives you a path that a choice of paths that you would maybe normally won't take, because you're influenced by your family, you're influenced by your friends, or you're influenced by society, or what you have done until that day. But once you tap into that, you're able to break all of that, and that takes courage, that takes boldness. So I would say to young people, be bold, be courageous, because this means breaking the old habits, breaking the old patterns, and stop believing in others other than yourself, because that belief within yourself is gives you clarity. It gives a clear image in your head of what you want instead of what is given to you. So I think that is very important for young people. And this is what drove me back in 2005 when I first went to Angola. And I was 23, 24, and I had a very stable job. I was like in a very good position in the work that I was doing. I had a driver, I had a good salary, young and booming. And I was sent off to Angola to do this project. I was working for a media group back then, and we were doing printed press. And I landed into the country, and I was very idealistic. And I saw that they were out of a 30-year civil war, and it was devastating. And I thought, I mean, this country is so brilliant. There's so much to do in this country, but just by writing a little article about it is not going to make any difference. And I wanted to make a difference. So what I did is I resigned from the job that I had and asked my dad to, if I could just borrow some money from him so I could start my own company and go back to Angola. And of course, and I'm the only daughter in the family, and he went ballistic. He was like, no way, you're coming back home. This is unacceptable. It's too dangerous, da, da, da. So I hung up the phone. I knew this businessman, and I said, will you be an angel investor in little complete? And I want to start. And he was like, yes, he believed in me. And I started my little company, and I went back to Angola, and we did an amazing program with CNN International. It was part of Inside Africa. And it was the first time that Angola opened itself up internationally, talking about economy, about investment, about culture. And it actually had impact. It actually had so much impact that the whole way of looking at the country for itself and for those who have seen the program have changed. And it started like this movement with other African nations that follow through those steps. And it was something that encouraged me to do more. And then I did government relations between Turkey and Angola. And there were none before. There was no embassy, and I opened up an embassy. And I was young, and I was dynamic, and I was doing this. The only reason why I was able to do this is because of the belief that I had, and because I was able to say no to what was served for me, and I was able to say, no, we can do more, and I can do more as a person, and I don't need much. But that belief, that's why I say be the owner of your energy. That belief, that energy is the only thing that you need most of the time, because when you believe something, other people will come and believe in it with you. So this is one of the things that I really hope the youth will be able to, get a grip of, and be prepared to break their own boundaries, and also cherish what they already have in hand, because those are the tools that you're going to reconstruct a life with. And I don't know if I'm being too talkative. Do you want to pause something, ask anything, or shall I continue?
Yeah, like you're exploring your limits and facing your challenge. That's perfect. Please carry on.
And another point that I think all of us, and especially young people, should be able to do is, have a consciousness of their mind. Okay, mind. That is, I think, a very strong formula that life gives us is the mind, because it shapes everything that is around you, right? And it is the one that decides whether one thing is good or bad, whether you're beautiful or ugly, whether you're smart or cool. It is the machine that has received all these codes that is able to make all of these judgments about what is around you. But it's very limiting. So it's very dangerous. The mind is very dangerous because unfortunately, these neural connections, which are like codes that are written on a machine, were made until you were 7, most of them. So from 0 to 7. So you actually have no control over them. So our obligation today is to be more conscious of what's there, watch them and say, you know what, this is not what I choose this. So how do we do this? By watching certain judgments you make every day, and you say, you know what, instead of this, I choose to feel this way. you know Instead of feeling sad, I choose to feel happy, and choose the thought that is going to give you that happy feeling, or choose the thought that is going to give you this hopeful look into the future, or choose the thought that is going to encourage you to do more. Whatever it is, be the master of your mind, because when you're able to become the master of your mind, then you're not enslaved into your codes or whatever has been in your past. Whatever memories you have of your past doesn't define you. What defines you is the vision that you have of yourself in the future. So bring into your now, not your memories, but what you want to receive as a person from your future. And that is the power of the thought, right? And I think we have to teach young people at an early age how to do this, because the earlier you learn this, the quicker you're going to get used to this. And I mean, it kind of, life then starts just shaping on its own, then it becomes effortless, then it becomes easier. So I think this conscious voice that we need to be able to hear in ourselves is something that we need to follow. And I think meditation helps a lot in this. And I really encourage young people to meditate. I've been meditating since I was 15. And even in the most absurd situations in my life, I was in Africa, and it was after a civil war. I've been attacked with guns, and I kept it cool, right? Or even in situations in which you're at the presence of a queen, and you're meeting the queen of a country, you get so nervous. Again, you keep your cool. So in good experience, bad experiences, whatever it is, when you meditate every morning, you're able to center yourself. And I think that helps a lot. And I think it is very much needed more today than ever. And I encourage young people to read, because, with all the Netflixes and the Hulus and Amazons and whatever, and Instagrams and snapshots, they don't read anymore. And because you don't read, you don't expand your way of thinking. And because you don't expand it, then you become limited as a person. Read philosophy, read a good literature, read quantum physics, for God's sakes. There's so much development that out there that we're not aware of. Read about astrophysics, educate yourself. And it's so easy to get educated today. Much easier than our ancestors had to go through. And there's so much knowledge that has been passed on to us from ancient Greeks to Renaissance and beyond. Take it, receive it. And another thing that was very useful for me was, from an early start on, I was never afraid to approach people. For instance, one of the projects, I had a development project in Belgium, actually, with the Kempinski hotels, and we had to find a very good architect. And I basically Googled top architects of the world, and 2 of them popped up. One was Bill Bensley. If you research him, he was on the Time magazine. He has done over 150 resorts around the world. He's a genius, Harvard graduate genius. So one was Bill Bensley, another one's Fernando Caruncho, a great landscape architect. Again, he's number 1 in the world, or number, top 5 of the world. And I Googled their phone numbers of their studios. One lives in Madrid, the other one is in Thailand. They picked up. I told them, this is the project that we have at hand. Are you interested? A month later, they were here, and they designed a project for us. So don't be afraid to approach people, whoever that person is, if you have something to say, if you have something significant to say. don't just say hello, don't watch them just for that, but you know what I mean. So it is easy to just tweet someone now, to call someone, to, send a message on Instagram. It is easier than ever. Use it. Don't be afraid. Use it. And also, for young people, I would say, have friends that are outside of your circle. A lot of the speakers during this weekend has said the same thing. Get out of your circle, get out of your community. Try to have people, even if they're older or younger than you. You don't have to have friends that are always your age. I have a close friend who's 70 years old and is like a mentor for me, and I love having conversations with him, right? But you try to have people who can teach you something, who can inspire you, because that's going to also shape who you are. And another thing is, I think, discipline and order. Like, make up your bed every morning. That will give you self-respect, because that is the bed you sleep in. That will say, you know what, I respect myself enough to make my bed. And if everything is around you ordered, your mind starts becoming orderly. Then your life starts becoming orderly. And it's a very good way of doing it, and self-respect is where we should all start with, right? Before we can go out there, we have to start here. So love yourself, respect yourself, and then you're able to love and respect others as well. Like, the other one that I was really centered me throughout my youth was having a hobby, because we need stimulus when we're young, and it's easy to get stimulated by everything outside of us, drugs and alcohol and parties and all of that. Those are inspirational things when you're young, right? But if you have a hobby that stimulates you, you're able to not need those outside stimuli. And that is, I think, for the youth of today, something that is really crucial, because it's not an easy atmosphere that they're living in, and they're not connected to nature as maybe we used to be when we were kids, right? We were able to spend more time under the trees, or playing outside, or going on a bike. And I think that is something that they have to sort out deliberately now. And I think that spending time in nature really reconnects you to who you are, because you're able to see all the harmony that is out there in the universe, and you see that you're part of that. And once you see you're part of that, you're something part of bigger. You see that it's inside you, and that I think is very, very empowering, and it gives you joy, because I think that is a key word. Have fun. You're young, you're limitless. Have fun, enjoy yourself. And with that joy, I think you can move mountains. There's nothing that is stopping you from becoming who you want to be. And I think with that, with the youth that will take on these, it'll be a better future for all of us.
That's awesome, Ceren. So the suggestion I have is that you write a blog post about this as well. The very interesting life lessons, to the fact that at some stage you felt that you had to challenge your parents, your father in this case.
Oh, yes.
That is a transition that every single teenager has to go through, right? And very few of them just go through life without ever disagreeing with parents of a great family. So you have to.
But I never had a bad relationship with them. I still have great relationship with them, and we really, we inspire each other. They've changed with me, and I've kept learning from them as well. And the love that you receive from your parents, you can't receive from anyone else, right? So that feeds you a lot. So I never wanted to lose that connection. So challenging them doesn't mean get rid of that relationship. No, that relationship is so powerful, more than anything else. Keep it. But that doesn't mean you have to just, be stuck in that box that they grew up in. No, you can go and be somebody else.
Yeah. Also, I suspect that one of the reasons why I have a good relationship with them today is because at some point in time you had to challenge them. So that's how you establish the boundaries of your own individuality.
That's true.
You had a great journey. So I'll send you more details on my bullets and tea experience in Turkey. Tell me what you think
Oh
about
yeah,
that.
that's very exciting. I would love to hear more about it.
Yeah, well, we'll do. So thanks so much for joining, and I'm hoping to meet you in Lisbon, probably
Yeah.
not next year, but no, at some point.
Actually, I'm in Lisbon on the 24th.
Oh wow!
For
So
Christmas. Yeah.
very nice.
Yeah.
I'm half Portuguese, half Spanish, so Lisbon is
Oh,
close.
it would be great to meet up, and I have great friends, and I'm sure you'll enjoy them as well.
Yeah, I'll be in Davos for the moment, but I hope to meet in person in another occasion. We should definitely stay in touch. Your story is super interesting and highly relevant for teenagers.
Thank you for having me, and what you're doing is wonderful. So bless you for that.